everybody. Welcome to the Patty G Show. I'm your host, Patty G. We are here with Lauren and Rachel from Truly Haute, a burning sensation of a business. They are on fire for what they do for their customers and how they help people bring their imagination to life within their events and their displays and setup. So we're going to be talking event rentals. We're going to be talking acquiring businesses because, yes, they acquired a business. And all sorts of things from renting spaces to renting equipment and whatnot. But before we get started with that, I want to give a big, wonderful shout out and thank you to the amazing folks that make this show possible each and every week. Government Taco, Falaya Real Estate, Lake Men's Health Center, Horizon Financial Group, Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and this week's LSU-inspired themed outfit is brought to you by McClavy's Limited. Without further ado, ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you all for coming on and responding to a DM on Instagram.
Yes. Yeah, we're happy to be here. I know.
So for those that may not be aware of the hottest business around, what is it that y'all do and what is Truly Haute?
We're going to tell who goes first.
No, Truly Haute is an event decor company. We do specialize in candlelight for weddings and galas and really parties of all sizes. We're located on Government Street, and we have like a little retail shop where you can come in and shop our different colored waxes and candles for your own personal use. I'd say first and foremost, a rental company for candles.
Yep. Specializing in candlelight for weddings and events, just like Rachel said. So we do all the design, delivery, setup, lighting, pickup at the end of the night. So, it's kind of just like a florist, whatever, but it's just the candles. So we do everything. You don't have to worry about anything.
So it's like candles and the stands and everything else that comes with it.
Yes, the holders, the wax. We have flameless, we have regulars, floating, hanging, lanterns. Any type of candle you can think of.
Tabletop stuff to the giant floor candles, So
yeah, and we have a few different types of like waxes. We just got some new stuff. Like these granule Lux wax things. We have like 18-inch pillars.
If it has a flame, we have it.
Yeah, even if it doesn't have a flame, we have it
in any colors.
So people will use like candles without them being, I guess like this setup kind of in front of us, just like candles on display almost.
Yeah, so this is mainly for like home decor or like birthday party usage. But the stuff we do is mainly like think like a table centerpiece. With like different candlesticks or even like giant candelabras, and they can go with maybe like a floral, piece or just stand alone by itself, like on a table or entryway, whatever you want.
Yeah, our main service is for weddings, tables, entrances, ceremony aisles, fireplace mantles, anywhere you can kind of like accent the room. And then our retail is kind of our secondary business, and that's when you can just buy the items for small parties, for home decor. And this is like something you may put up for like a holiday, or you just want to like decorate your house, or for a baby shower. And you can either light it for like a celebration, or you can just keep it unlit just for like decor.
Gotcha. So backing up a little bit, what are both of y'all's backgrounds? And kind of how did you get initially day one into Truly Haute?
So I guess for me, like I was in communication studies at LSU. I had just had a baby, and so I was really trying to figure out what the heck I'm going to do with my life. And I think I was like working as a receptionist at the time, honestly. And I was looking for something more in the event planning, didn't really know if I liked it or not. Found Truly Haute coordination and kind of emailed them, was like, hey, can I come like once a week and work for you guys, see if I like it. Ended up falling in love with just the behind the scenes work of it all. And that's kind of really where my love for like event planning and like designing kind of came to light. That's where I
at
met
the same
Lauren,
time
too.
She was also working at another like event company, so she was kind of getting outside skills.
Yeah,
from
I had gotten
there.
that job from I don't know if I say her name. Rachel was her name also, who owned Truly Haute, and she like hooked me up in the event.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
At Event Rental here in Baton Rouge, or I guess they are no longer in Baton Rouge, but really learned a lot from that.
And so I am a paralegal also, graduated in sociology, didn't know what I wanted to do. So I went back to get my paralegal certification, and I worked at law firms. I worked for the state for a long time, and it was okay. But I felt very like monotonous, some of the things I was doing. And my husband's a pilot, and so I was like, I got to find something else to do because I'm like really bored, and maybe I like want to switch careers, but I don't have anything else on my resume. And so same thing. I was like, maybe I'll get into event planning, and I found Truly Haute, and I started doing that. It was just like on the side for a little bit, but I kept kind of like working my way up the ladder at like the state. And so it was like both careers were growing at the same time. And so I did work 2 jobs up until when, just like
a year ago.
Yeah. Less than a year ago. I feel like it was this year, I guess the beginning of the year. So it was complete chaos that I was working as like a project manager at the Attorney General's office. And doing this, which was like growing rapidly, and it was just like complete chaos. So
y'all were both working 2 jobs.
We both had 2 jobs.
Yeah.
And then
she went full time a lot sooner, which helped.
Yeah, it was like 2018. I was actually able to go full time Truly Haute, and that kind of, I think, pivoted our whole company because
we were like, this
finally
is not really a
like
hobby.
A focus every day.
Going into
wake
work.
up, talk to brides, make that sale,
And it wasn't just kind of like, okay, we're gonna do this on the weekends when we have extra time. It's like, okay, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna, like she said, like wake up and sit at the computer and make it a thing. And then she went full time, and like we grew so much that year. And then once,
I think the stat was like we grew 160%.
Yeah. I mean, it was a lot.
Something like
that was
stupid.
Yeah, we grew a lot that year. That stat was actually from 2020 to 2021, which is that when we grew.
During COVID?
That was COVID
Yeah.
year.
Wait,
Never mind.
So y'all did 160%.
I was sending Rachel. It was
Yes.
116. I was
116,
sending
okay.
Rachel all the stats this morning because I was like trying to figure out like what years we grew. We grew a lot the year that Rachel quit her job. And went full time, and we were like so thankful. We were like, wow, this is like a real thing, and it picked up. And like we were saying, there's just no other companies like us, and so there was like an opportunity in the market.
We both saw the demand for it, so I think like the risk that we were taking, at least like in my eyes, it was like, oh yeah, everyone buys a company when they want to do their own thing. I don't know, so let's take that risk. And then it was kind of like, oh, maybe I can do this full time. My bills will get paid. I might not be the richest man alive right this moment, but we'll take this risk because like
and we were passionate about it too.
It.
Yeah, we believed in it. We were passionate about it, and we were like seeing the outcome of like these great weddings, and these brides are so happy, and we were like, oh, this is fun. And I always say I felt like a farmer. You like work so hard and like water your crops, and you do all this, and then like they grow, and you're so proud. And I felt like that's what we were. We were so proud. So like we were putting in all this hard work.
Or it is very rewarding.
It still is. And we were putting in all this hard work, and people would be like, oh, Lauren, you work so hard. And I'm like, I'm building something, okay? Can you just wait? And now they're like, oh, you're so successful. And I'm like, you thought I was working hard, and this is what it's for.
Candles.
Yeah.
So, lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
You threw down the gauntlet in there as well. Back up a little bit. Y'all bought Truly Haute.
Sure.
Okay, so y'all started working at what time, and then when did the purchase actually happen?
I think it was like 2013 when we started just like working there part-time as like just kind of helping.
We would go and help coordinate, like assist like coordination for like weddings, and kind of like help set up, a few like decor items like on the weekends. And I think it was probably like one a month. Yeah.
I mean, it was just like extra little side money, like, fun money. And for me, it was resume building because I was trying to see if I wanted to get out of my other career. And then when the other owners said they wanted to sell, we were like, okay, why not?
I texted Lauren and was like, hey, it's Rachel.
Yeah.
This is Rachel with Truly Haute.
Yeah.
We worked together last weekend. Do you remember me? Do you want to buy this company?
Exactly.
And she was like, hey, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so y'all had only worked together for like a weekend?
Well, it wasn't a weekend, but we just didn't know each other that well. I mean, we had like, we were like acquaintances, but it wasn't like, I mean, I may have even not had her number saved. Like, it was, we were not
literally
like
was
friends.
that. Yeah.
And like all the more better of a person to build a business with,
Yeah.
Right. Complete strangers.
Yeah. Now we're like work wives, and
I guess we did luck out on that.
Yeah.
Something really bad could have happened.
Yeah. I mean, we had different strengths. Like she really had a lot of knowledge about event renewals, which I had nothing And I feel like I had like a lot of like the business skills from like working in like state government and law firms and things like that. And so we are definitely bringing like, two different yin and yang to the table as far as the business. And so it works out.
Yeah. I guess we just have that main common ground that like drives us completely to keep, the business going and getting better and better every year.
So when you decided to buy this, were both of y'all married at the time?
I was not. No, I just got married in 2021.
I was, but I was like, I didn't have any. Did I have a kid?
But we both had kids.
I didn't have
I had a kid. You were pregnant,
no.
maybe.
Oh my God. Yeah. I think I was like, we had just bought it and I was like, Rachel, FYI, just found out I'm pregnant. So like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
I'm just remembering that. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you bought what was a hobby business
Yeah.
at the time when you had a relatively young child and you had a baby on the way.
Yeah.
I mean, what did your friends and family say to you when you made the announcement you're buying a company?
No, I
that's
think
a
my friends thought I
hobby?
was crazy. I think they were like, what are you doing?
I don't think anyone truly
they
understood.
Or I think they were like, this is something that's going to like fizzle out.
Yeah. And
for
when
sure.
you explain it, we're like, oh yeah, we rent decor items. It can sound very, I guess, like DIY, like in your garage and stuff. And like it is what it started off as.
We absolutely started in the garage.
But
so.
I don't think anyone really grasped it. Like, no, we're an LLC now. Like this is actually a business. So.
And then like, and we have like goals and dreams, and like I think that was hard too. Like we are gonna like make it, and we are gonna like do well, and so.
Yeah, I think we had like a
People
she had
didn't-
like a lawyer like draw up something, and I was like getting my uncle or someone to like look over it, and he was like, "Oh, it's cute. Like you got like a lawyer. This is like real."
Cute little legal document.
And I was
Here's
like,
cute.
"Yes, I do." And like I think the amount that I was signing for, he was like, "You're buying a business for this." And I was like, "Mm-hmm." Yes. I was like, okay.
And now people I know that same lawyer. He's like, "Wait, how much y'all bringing in a year?" He was like, "What? This is crazy.
you
Y'all bought it
almost
for
feel
this
bad.
little." It's yeah.
So did that have any type of like push or drive to y'all, you think, where people had this underestimation of what you could do within this company?
Yeah,
I would
think
say
so.
for me, definitely. I mean, I've never had like, or at least at that time, I didn't have like a career or really any drive to like find what I was like wanting to do my whole life, like I didn't know what I was going to do. And then I think, you always like to prove people kind of like,
Right, just a little.
watch me,
bit.
I don't really like to talk about myself, but I don't mind if like other people see my success, but it was definitely a drive. I think it still is kind of like, I'm curious to see how far we can take this like personally, like our business. So yeah.
Yeah,
I think definitely it was like a drive to kind of be like, no, we're like a real thing.
Yeah.
We belong here in this
Yeah.
industry at least.
And I think for COVID, it was like a make or break. Like, I think we were kind of like, okay, we could either just like let this fizzle out or we can like take it, we can like keep going. And, I think we decided like, let's keep driving. And we did so like we grew so much after that. And so it's been good.
Yeah. The COVID year, I think really was pivotal for us because that was when we decided the whole, I guess, like retail thing. And we saw our company more as like, originally it was just like, oh, add on these candles to your wedding, like we'll come and make it that much better.
Right.
But then we kind of, I think, had the realization like, oh, you're having a backyard wedding or like something super small, like a micro wedding was like really in for COVID.
Like,
we
you
were
don't need anything else,
actually,
you
you
just-
only need candles. So call us first.
Yeah.
And let us be the focal point.
Yeah,
and that really stuck, I think.
Right. And for people who were changing everything, they may have not needed a bit large caterer anymore. They may have not needed a big band, but they still needed decorations for their little backyard wedding. And because before they may have been in this beautiful ballroom where they didn't need much, and now they needed something to make it like look pretty. And so we were doing so many backyard weddings, so many micro weddings. And we just like waived our minimums, and we were like, if you want to come pick it up yourself, like we were just like, no rules. Let's just like do whatever you need. We were here for you.
Here to transform.
Yeah. And we just like pivoted completely. And I feel like that was really helpful. So.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, event planning is kind of one of those businesses where people were looking at shutting their doors and really concerned about what COVID was bringing with the size restrictions, the outdoor restrictions, and just all around people not wanting to get out for fear of everything, And so it's incredible to hear the fact that y'all through what you did. I mean, 116%.
Yeah, from 2020 to 2021.
Like that's that's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah,
that
I
you
was
had
looking
that
at the
much
numbers,
growth. Like that is
crazy.
just insane. And at the same time, this is all still just a side hustle for the both of you.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, the event industry really did hurt during COVID. I mean, we have like personally like friends in the industry, you know, obviously, and you just like felt for everyone, you know, because it just completely changed the way you do things and like your livelihood, you know, for the most part.
So when you're creating the space, I mean, what's kind of your creative outlet process for getting the bases, getting the stands and all that stuff for the weddings and the events? How do y'all kind of go through that process? Or is that classified?
No, it's not.
It's not classified.
If I'm not talking, it's because I'm letting Rachel talk, and she does all the. Rachel does all the design, and I do all like the business stuff. So that's why that's a Rachel question.
No, I would say we kind of just, you know, I meet with every bride personally, and they'll come in and kind of like share with me like their likes, what they don't like, and everything from there, and we just kind of like draw on like their vision, you know. And we have, you know, a showroom now where we can like mock up their tables and show them like we have tons of inventory to choose from, and it can be like a little overwhelming for people, and so that's kind of where we just like come in and help them kind of really curate exactly what they want, you know, from little tiny things to giant things to fill up a whole space, you know, because every wedding I would say is like very personal, you know.
Yeah, and like we don't have packages. Like people are always like, "Oh, what's your packages?" I'm like, we don't have them. It's all customized to like your venue or your budget or like what else you're getting. Like if you're getting large florals, you might want small things around it, or maybe you want big candles, and you know, so it's all customizable depending on your vision, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, we just like curate that with each bride and kind of, I'll design like a few different things, and they can, you know, come and tell me like, I like this about this, or like, I don't like this about that piece. And then we can like completely remake it, you know. And I think, you know, the trends are like always changing. And so every bride is literally that much different, you know, from people wanting just like straight up hot pink everywhere, you know, to just like clear glass, very like clean, you know. So that's what I think keeps it just like constantly rotating. And Lauren and I both like kind of look at trends and just like everything that we just, if we see something on the market, we're like, we have to have this for Baton Rouge weddings, you know, we're like, we have to bring this into our inventory, you know, and hope that other brides like it as much as we do.
Because we try to be ahead of the curve, like for, you know, trends in Baton Rouge for like what we want people to do, the wedding industry and stuff.
Yeah. So we're just like always trying to find like that special something that people are just gonna like fall in love with. And most of the time brides like kind of already have an idea of what their wedding they want it to look like, you know, and then they see it in person and it's just like that much more powerful of like a look, you know. And I mean, you'll be surprised, like candles do transform a space. Like
100%
we could turn the lights off and fill this with candles and be a whole different room.
I don't know if Barrett wants to have a candlelit vibe in the studio.
Yeah. So that's kind of like our design process of like curating each event is just like very personalized.
Well, and it keeps with out of the monotonous tasks that some other jobs have where you're doing the same thing over and over, year over year, day over day, week over week, where with y'all, you could have a new bride every week that everything's completely different. The whole game, the whole scenery, the whole vibe has changed. Now you can lean and draw on the past experience, but the decorating and everything is totally different wedding to wedding, you know?
Yeah. Throwing a corporate party.
I was about to say, and then y'all do corporate parties.
Yeah. And so those are always fun. Like this past month has been a good mix of corporate versus weddings. And it's just been like, oh, we're using these today and those tomorrow. So it's been fun, you know, like maybe pulling stuff off the shelf that we haven't in a while just because it's not really like wedding trend, you know? So that's always a good time.
Yeah. And corporate, I guess for corporate events, it's something that's never really top of mind for me. For like, we just did our company Christmas party and I was not like, oh, we need candles. You know, but looking back and thinking, right, leave me your card, please. But like looking back at, you know, the event, I was like, you know, having some little bit of flair or decoration in there would have taken it to another level. Now, we are a bunch of CPAs, so not necessarily.
CPAs that don't know, they love candles.
This is true. And look, it's one of those things that you don't notice you need it until it's there.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you walk in the room, like you said, it will transform a venue from something that was to something that's like, oh, wow.
Yeah, the ambience.
Just the ambience of
Totally
having
changes the
candles.
vibe.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, and I think we have people all the time like that'll come in and be like, oh, if only I knew that like there was a company like this when I got married or something.
Yeah,
you know,
because people
you
will
don't
buy
know
it.
that you
They'll
need it.
sometimes people catch us too late, and they'll
Or
buy
just
everything.
have flowers. Yeah,
And they're like, oh my gosh, I bought all this stuff. Can you set up my stuff? And we're like, oh, we don't really set up other people's stuff. But, you know, but they're like, well, maybe I'll go return it. And can I like rent from you? We're like, sure, we could do that. But, you know, we like try to catch people before
yeah,
they
always
do all that.
getting the word out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I know for my mom, we were talking beforehand, she owns a little wedding venue out in Sunshine, Louisiana. And we were always in charge of setting the candles out. So she ended up buying all the little lantern things. She bought like little hanging lanterns we put in the trees, floating things on little lily pads. And I'm like, the candle budget for a wedding, like, you have to have a line item of candles
Yeah, for sure.
for a reception or a party or something, because there is literally candles everywhere.
Yeah, I always stress that. Like, what budget for candles, because it's just not something that you think. People are like, oh, cake, flowers, dress, venue. They don't think candles, but I mean, it should go
Hopefully
hand in
nowadays,
hand. Yeah, I mean, we're
we're
trying to
a part
like
of it
put the
now.
word out, you know.
Yeah,
I'm trying to light the city up.
Yeah,
we really are. I
That's
think
right.
we've been to just about every venue.
Yeah, yep.
So
So, and are y'all going to like different wedding trade shows and getting booths there? I mean, is that even a space that y'all are
We used to.
pursuing? Like,
yeah, in the very beginning, I'd say we were like
That was how we got our name out.
all marketing focus.
We kind of stopped that because the brides who go to those are sometimes not in our, I don't know how to say that, in our market, I guess maybe, or like just some,
or they're already booked.
They're-
A
we're-
lot of them,
right.
and they're there to like the big ones at least. I think have hundreds of people, but they already have their vendors, you know, and they're kind of like looking for that photographer giving. Or like a giveaway and stuff like that's what when I was getting married, I went to all those bridal shows so I could win something I did
That's
not
right.
for like budget
but,
stuff. But
no, we
like to connect with like vendors, like wedding planners and venues.
we call them frienders.
Yeah.
frienders. I like the term.
No, we adore each like literally every vendor that we work with because we see them literally every week, you know, and so
Yeah,
you
we
have
see
to
them every weekend.
collaborate
They're like colleagues
all
of
the
ours.
time.
And so, you know, if you know, if somebody goes to a venue and they're like, oh, I need this, like, great, Truly Haute, you know, or same thing for a wedding planner. If a bride comes and they're like, I need candles, they always recommend us. And so that's like who we market to instead of the bridal
But I would
shows.
say, like, to answer your question, though, really the only bridal show every year that we do go to, and shout out to White Oak, they are a great venue, and we're always there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll definitely, like, go and see all their brides and stuff like that.
They make it really easy for us to get in and get out, and they're kind to us.
That's good.
They have great candle locations.
Yeah.
Staircase, fireplace, fountain. Those are the three
The three big
candle
locations.
that you could light up really heavily.
And then the floating candles in the fountain.
Mm-hmm.
That I just.
The options are there.
Yeah.
So talking about the full-time switch for both of you, it occurred for you, Rachel, and right around COVID, right?
No, she was 2018.
2018. Okay.
And then I was just recently, I mean, kind of like in the beginning of the year, like I think it was like around February, March, April, I can't remember. But it
Oh, for even 22 for 2022.
Like this year.
Okay.
She just came
I was
full-time
like
this year.
real caught up in my job. Like I was like, this is a pivot in the road. Like
So I'm sitting here with the company on my back.
she really was. I mean, I swear, she was doing.
Rachel, I'm carrying this company.
She really was though.
That's it.
No, it's true.
Oh, this is a joke.
She was doing a lot, and I mean, I was like doing stuff that I could behind the scenes, but I was like, we are growing, and I need to like jump in, and I'm getting so busy at my job. I worked at the Attorney General's office. I saw you had Beverly Haydell on the other day. I worked with her
Okay.
often, so I listened to her episode, but it was just nonstop, and I was like, I'm gonna have.
I think every month I was like, Lauren, are you quitting your job?
Yeah,
today?
yeah, every day, and so it was just too much. And I have 3 kids. Like my husband's a pilot. I was just like, I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown, and so it was time for me to like pick one of the paths, and so I like focused on truth. Yeah, and I think it's been great, and I'm able to like focus more time, and do more things, and so flourishing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, each time, like when I came on full time, the company was like, yes. And then when Lauren came on full time, it was like, we all just like took a breath and was like, yes, like this year has been so successful because we're all hands on deck now.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
And that's one of the tough conversations and decisions that really any entrepreneur has whenever they start out with a side gig. And most businesses start out as side gigs. At least nowadays, they have their main job and they start something on the side as a hobby, in which case y'all bought a hobby, and then you started to grow in it for years and you were doing both things. But then it comes a point in the time, like you were saying, that pivotal moment, that fork in the road where it's one or the other. And oftentimes a lot of entrepreneurs just kind of hang their hat up and say they want the security because the years have been too up and down. It's been, they're not sure if it's going to be able to continue with them going full time, nor can they maintain their normal lifestyle. And it's hard, which I'm sure that y'all have had to do, or maybe not because of the growth of the company, but kind of take a step back financially from where you're living for the sake of the company.
Yeah.
And saying, I know this can succeed, but I'm going to have to sit in the back seat for a little bit and not go and be out and about doing everything that I want to do because I know I've got to grind and I've got to push through this. I mean, was that what y'all kind of experienced?
We have a lot of conversations like that. But I mean, it's
my first year was rough. Like every day or every month, like rent was due, was like,
rent's always due every month.
There we go. I think that first year of owning the business, I got my taxes back, and I just remember sitting in the carpool line crying to my mom because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I'm owning this business and I love it, but I can't pay these taxes of owning a business. I can't like pay my bills, you know? And so I think just like with it was just kind of like, what else do you want to do? Nothing. Okay, well then make this work, you know?
And so we really had to like put a lot of work and effort and,
crunch numbers,
creative thoughts, and try to make it work for us. But I mean, ultimately this job gives us like the flexibility with our families and also the income that we need. I mean, I think it's
that's a good
better.
point. I think it was a quality of life for me versus, I guess like a solid bank account maybe at the time. And so I was finally able to be a carpool mom, like I, because of this job, was able to go at 3 p.m. instead of like 6 p.m. and pick my son up from not like working an 8 to 5, and so that to me was like a really big deal. I could go to the grocery store anytime I wanted, like I didn't have to call in sick if I really was sick, it was a huge quality of life difference. And so, and I think I just like still, maybe it was naive, but I just kept believing like, well, next year my paycheck's going to be better. Next year I'm going to be bringing in twice as much, like there's no way I'm not. And then it's like slowly kind of came true, like more and more. And like, here we are today, and it's, it is very fruitful, but I will say the risk was high.
Yeah.
There were really hard times in the beginning where I was like, I need a second job, like, or I need to go back to Truly Haute being a hobby. But I didn't want it to be. So Lauren like kept me through that, and with her number crunching, and was like, okay, this is what you can afford today. I'm like, okay, I will not go out to eat.
Yeah, I'm pretty frugal with it. I'm not a CPA, but I'm like
no, she taught me how to budget. So
hey, budgeting is the first part.
And I promise you, we would not.
I'm like an amateur
where
bookkeeper,
we are.
But everyone's like, "Who does your bookkeeping?" I'm like, "Me."
Who does our website building?
Me.
Lauren.
Yeah, to like learn everything.
Not a web designer, but she's like great at it.
You can figure anything else out.
YouTube.
Yeah. So it's been fun.
When I think that what you were experiencing in the carpool line, breaking down about your tax bill, is something that's not addressed a lot within the entrepreneurship space. Entrepreneurs oftentimes have to get microloans to pay their taxes at the end of the year because they're just trying to grow and grow and grow and grow, and some of the expenses are not tax deductible, and so they end up with a tax bill that they can't pay because they're not cash flow positive yet. They're burning cash, they're dumping money in, and it's a very stressful time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a hard situation to be in. But like you were saying, either it goes back to being a hobby and I get another job, or I figure out a way around this. If you don't push through, you know, the alternative of not pushing through that, of not recognizing that I just have to figure out a way to live well below my means and really get this company off the ground is like, then your dream is kind of being pushed to the side if you're not, you know? So it's like, I want this dream, I got to push through it. And so it's incredible to see that y'all have kind of done that, you know?
Yeah.
And now that y'all are both on here full time, like,
Yeah.
who knows what's going to happen?
I
You
know.
gotta,
Deal. Who knows?
yeah, I mean, you got your own space
the limit.
now. You're out of
Yeah.
a garage and you're in your space. Let's talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, we went from
Rachel's garage to a storage unit, to another storage unit, which we thought we were like moving up so much.
10 by
from, like,
10 to a 20 by 30.
Yeah, we were like,
Ooh.
woo!
Yeah.
And then where did we go after that? Then we got like a real place. This was a cute place on Jefferson. That's when I felt like we thought we
that
were like
was
big.
so we I think experimented kind of like we got this really cute place off of Jefferson Highway, like kind of in
like a little
Cottage.
cottage.
And that was when we first experienced like the showroom aspect
Yeah.
of like brides
We were,
were like we were
wanting to
proud to have
come.
them in our office, you
Yeah.
know? And we were like, oh, we got a taste of that. But then it was not functional for our inventory at all.
Well, and so a lot of what we do is loading and unloading back and forth. And we were in this small little area where,
going through the front porch.
yeah, I was like, this is
down.
not functional. We need like a real warehouse with like a bay door and not like stairs and like a shotgun cottage situation. And so we moved again to an actual warehouse on Industrialplex, and that worked out great, except now we lost the function of nobody wanted to come see us on an Industrialplex because we were in like a grimy warehouse.
It was in a parking lot. It wasn't the cute Industrialplex.
Yeah.
it was
It was the backside of an
It was the
Industrialplex.
back.
Oh yeah, and
Well,
like,
looking like the construction buildings where nobody
Yeah,
goes.
exactly.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were like,
The
no,
warehouse-
keep going.
the warehouse functionality was great. We were like, this is what we need, but now we lost our showroom. We were like, we need the best of both worlds, and so that's how we got on Government Street, and we actually had them build us a garage door. So
So now, yeah, it functions as both. We have like the warehouse space right next to our like cute, pretty showroom
we have
space.
a showroom, we have an office.
So we kind of learned each year
Mhm.
what we needed. Like we thought this was important, and then we went too far, and then got this important, and then we were like, not exactly.
It's a lot of trial and error.
So this is just right for now, you know.
Yeah, but I think every entrepreneur's got to figure out that trial and error. I mean, you're a
Oh,
web
yeah.
designer, a CFO. You know,
Yeah.
you got to. You have to learn everything as you go, or you got to bear the burden of an expense of paying somebody else. You know, Google is free. Hiring people is
Use
not.
it. Yeah.
So from a manpower standpoint of hiring people, how was that? I mean, were y'all doing this just the two of you, going to every single event, every single
For a
weekend
while.
that y'all were booked? I mean,
Yeah.
walk us
we
through
were.
that.
For a while, I think we had started kind of hiring people, and then when COVID came, we had somebody helping. Whenever we were on Jefferson, we had someone helping
like
us.
one or two assistants that would come on the weekends. But I mean, we were we were cleaning candles and glassware
At
in
our
our
house.
kitchens for
It's a
years.
disaster.
It's
My
a
husband was like,
disaster.
"You're ruining
She,
our
like, broke the
dishwasher,
dishwasher, yeah.
because the wax melts." I wanted to put them in the dishwasher because I was like, "Oh, they get so hot." He was like, "Yeah, the wax is clogging our dishwasher and breaking our dishwasher." I was like, "Oops," but yeah, we'd bring boxes home at our
Tons of
house
boxes.
and wash them at our house or in our bathtubs, and then bring them back. It was a mess. I don't know how. I honestly don't know how people continue to book us. Like whenever we were like that, we weren't showing them
They
no
never
signs.
got to see
They
you
never got
in
to
the-
see
in
that.
the-
We
in the
we
bathtub,
can,
you know.
we can laugh about it
Yeah.
now, but I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, they just
we
saw
were
the pretty
every
events.
weekend too.
Yeah, we had people help him, but we were doing a lot of it, and then we kind of realized, oh, we also need help like during the week, and so we kind of started getting people to help during the week. But I think we kind of still didn't want to give up like how much we were taking, you know, and so it kind of got we had to realize like, okay, we can make more money if we get more help, you know.
That was a
And,
big decision. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a hard decision.
Yeah. And so, but then for COVID, we went back to like, there was really no events. So Rachel and I were kind of like, well, just me and you, we'll just go do all the events. But we really didn't have many events, but we did a lot of them ourselves. And then after COVID, we just went like skyrocket. Like And we were like, all hands on deck, all new staff. Like,
Yeah. I think we got our first full-time employee when we were in Industriplex.
yeah.
Everyone
That's
else
true.
was just kind of like part-time up until then.
Yeah, got like a
because
payroll
candles,
system.
it's tedious, and any florist will tell you when they do candles too.
And a lot of florists are just like,
You
we
have
just don't want
to
to
bring
do
it home and clean it.
I was about to say it's
And
not just sitting the night. You pack it
don't-
all up and you put it back in the warehouse the next
Yeah.
day. It's a just bear to clean.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
think like 10 candles a table. You know, like
And if you have 20 tables, that's 200 candles. And then somebody have water in them, dump the water out. Make sure you're putting it all back in the right,
wax that gets stuck.
all in the right boxes. Put the boxes correctly back in like the tubs.
It's just tedious.
It's
And
very
so
tedious.
Why we went into this industry, sometimes I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Maybe you're learning why there's not another
that's why. Everyone else.
because nobody wants to clean it.
Wait a minute.
I mean, just the display you have in front of us on the table, that is a lot of candles and a piece
Yeah.
of wood. And to clean that, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's almost cheaper and more efficient to just
Don't
get a new
like
piece of
that.
wood
Yeah.
and start all over.
We don't rent these out.
Rightfully so. I mean, that
We
is
don't want to
just.
clean that for you.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
But yeah, now I mean we definitely have 2 full-time employees.
Yeah, they're there all the time. We have like a
that
warehouse.
stay with us.
We have a
And
warehouse guy. It's all he does.
How many
is just
part-time? Like
and
25
I
now?
looked at it today.
25?
No, we have more than that. 34.
We have 34.
34
But they're
people?
part time could be like very, very part time. Like they work.
That's
like,
still a lot of people. That's a lot of W-2s at the
No.
end of the year.
Yeah.
They're
We
a
sent
lot of
out
them are 1099.
the most we've ever sent out this year.
Yeah, exactly.
For the W-2s.
Yeah, it's a lot. I was like, this is so much. It's just hard for me to. I'm like running payroll and doing all these things and
Wait, and you're running payroll?
yeah.
All right, we'll talk after.
No, we have a CPA and he's like slowly. I don't think he listens to this, but he's like slowly going up on our price without telling me. I'm like, but he probably he's seeing like, oh, they're growing. I need to charge them more.
They can afford more.
Yeah.
They can afford more.
I'm like, what is this? You didn't even tell me you're going up on this.
Well, I mean, it's hiring somebody, whether it's part-time or full-time, as an entrepreneur is so tough because then you not only have to worry about paying them, number one, but number two, making sure they can maintain your level of quality control, making sure that your level and standards are kept. And if you've got a wedding at Homa's house and then you have a wedding at the Watermark Hotel, you can't go in between those.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
That's a long drive to go from one venue to another. You've got to trust them
Yeah.
to maintain the Truly Haute brand.
Right. And so
100%.
we have trainings and, I send out like, little guides and information sheets on how to kind of like, how to be how we wanted it to be originally, and how to stay professional. And I always say like, I want us to be and this is maybe impossible, but I want us to be the most professional vendors there. I want people to look at us and go, who are those people? They look like they know what they're doing. And that's what I like. And I don't want us to ever be like, oh, we don't know what we're doing, and so that's what I strive to. And we tell all of our employees that, and hopefully it keeps us looking good.
And quality control is number 1 on our list. And we kind of learned that like having a warehouse and getting more and more inventory with like the cleaning. I know like in the beginning our quality definitely could have been better, so you have something to like, strive for. Like back then, I don't want to be 2017 Rachel, like Truly Hot.
It was just us, so we didn't really have
Rachel.
time to clean on all that stuff. We were doing the best we could, but now we have the more people. We have someone who can clean it all the time. We have someone who checks it. We have someone who pulls it. We pull it, signature, check it, signature, double check it. It's like a lot more quality control now.
Yeah.
When there's a lot of work that goes into the vases and the not the flutes, what are they called? The things that go around the candles?
Oh, like the chimney.
The hurricane shields.
Yeah, well, the hurricane shield's just a piece of glass that goes like on top of a single candle. So for that, you almost have to treat that like a wine glass. Whereas like if there's any
We break things all the
fingerprints,
time,
well, like fingerprints or
yeah.
smudges, like all that's got to get clean. Otherwise, the photographers nowadays, just their cameras are too good. They pick up every little thing.
Oh, yeah.
We have.
So
we want to be the best.
And if you have a table that's like 20 feet long and you have 60 of those, like if one of them is dirty or cloudy or foggy, the camera's going to pick it up and the bride's going to look at that and go, I mean, they shouldn't, but they're going to look at it and subtly just be like, that's not quite clean.
Yeah. And we would look at that and be like, look at that. It's
Yeah.
disgrace,
Right.
But Yeah, I mean, I would say like we do put a lot of trust into our employees, and I mean, I credit our employees and assistants like really like 100% for our growth the past like few years, because we went from really only being able to take a wedding when the two of us are available, you know, to work, and now we're booking, you know, 8 a weekend.
Yeah.
8 weddings in a weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, and some of we also do like customer pickup. So like we have, you know, full service, which means like we have like a rental minimum. So like we can't take it unless we won't go and set it up unless you reach our rental minimum. But if you don't reach our rental minimum, we have customer pickup, meaning we'll just put it all together for you and you come pick it up on Thursday and return it on Monday. And so we're able to bring in more money by doing that because we don't need any more people to do that. They can just do it themselves.
Put it on the warehouse crew.
Yeah.
No, but I think our sweet spot is like 3 weddings a night.
Yeah.
3 that way, like if I need the night off, we have like, you know, we assistants that we call leads, who we like train extensively and trust extensively to be like our eyes and ears and person on the ground. And that way we're able to set up, we have like different crews now.
Yeah.
That we can send to do weddings that we'll like, she'll do one, you know, and I'll go do one. And
yeah, on busy nights we have about 20 people working, you know, all over Louisiana. So
That's crazy.
I know.
Like,
it is crazy to think of. I mean, like that we weren't there last year. Like it's
I was
just
about to say, like, okay, so this is like recently y'all gotten to the
just
point
talk
where y'all
about
are here.
last weekend. We were in Abita Springs, Homa, and then Baton Rouge, like 2 Baton Rouge events all in one night.
3. We were also at Water Campus, and I forgot. So I was trying to tell
Forgot
someone.
about it.
Well, it was a customer pickup,
But no, just full of service.
Just like,
That's what I'm saying,
that's
yeah.
where we were at.
we were at 5 events, and I had even forgot. I was talking to another vendor. I was like, "Oh, we have 3 events this day," and one of our assistants popped her head up, and she was like, "4. I'm going to Homa." I was like, "I forgot. I've totally forgot. Like we have." We're so many
in
places,
so many
and like Rachel and I have elevated. You know, we're kind of more like manager level. We're not in the grind anymore. Like, you know, that the girl I'm talking about, she's kind of managing her own workload, and she knew what she was doing. We didn't have to kind of micromanage her. We were like, "Yep, totally forgot you're going to Homa. Good job. Glad you're on that."
Well, like you said, y'all are sitting there with the consults and getting the brides or the people in charge of the corporate events, where that's where y'all's time is probably best spent, you know?
Yeah.
And then having a team trained up, ready to execute on the actual day of makes it so much easier for you to keep booking and keep taking these meetings and making sure that you're able to create the scene that your employees and your 1099 vendors will deploy.
Definitely.
Yeah, we have a good workflow now. Like on Mondays, we do like production meetings with our staff, and we talk about like all the events that week and what do we need to order, what do we need to make sure is clean, what's going out when, what do we need to return in this place, you know, like just like problems we may have, or like times, or how many people do we need at this place, and do we need to get any more people lined up for this event, and just everything for the week. And then just kind of we have like something every day of like how we do it, and I find it makes our week kind of go so smooth.
Yeah. And I mean, the more, I guess, like, the bigger the crews we have, the bigger the weddings we can take on, and the more time, like, I can spend, like, creating experiences for brides, you know? Because it's when I have to go, or, like, Lauren has to go to, like, each wedding or, like, delivery or pickup at the end of the night, that we're just, like, dragging during the week, and I don't want to make a sale.
You can't drag.
Yeah, or, like,
week.
you can't be creative when you're, like,
and that's
worried
kind of
about
like
that.
our goal is like we don't want to go to the weddings anymore, because like we want to be kind of like more in the manager, you know, clipboard, doing the higher level things and letting other people do it, so that we can grow more and having leads take on more events.
I say I don't mind going to the weddings. I like it. I mean, I've been doing it for a long time, so it is like fun, and you get like a glimpse sometimes, like seeing like everyone else see your work, you know, is like very cool. But the 2 a.m. pickups are
I mean, we just can't go to all of them, you know, like the amount
you
that we
can't.
the amount of weddings or events that we take on a year, just we can't.
Which just circles back to like quality, I guess, of like if we're not here physically in the managerial role, then I think like our quality would maybe slip, and that's like what we don't want. So we just constantly have to keep growing, keep hiring, and remembering like no, help is good. You know?
And that mindset ultimately is probably what's going to help y'all take it to the next level and continue that hockey stick that Jacob mentioned beforehand. You know, getting to that level of shooting up quicker than expected is because you have the foresight to know I need help. Otherwise, we can only do so much. We can only be in so many places at one time. We need help to continue growing. And you've already been able to recognize where your time is best served, you know, and Lauren, you may get to the point where you're like, I can't even help with all this because I've got to keep up with the books. I've got to keep up with the payroll, with the scheduling and making sure the calendar's filled out. We have people everywhere. And then Rachel, you just designing and helping with everything that you don't have the time to ever go to an event, but you've got to have that team in place that can deploy and execute on the same level and are going to be the ones that are going to send you the photos and say, here's the setup, here's how everything looks, are we good, this and that. And you have to be able to accept help and hire on help as an entrepreneur in order to scale, because you cannot do everything. You can't physically do everything. There's only 24 hours in a day. I have yet to find somebody who gets more.
No, and that, I mean, it was a hard lesson to learn. I mean, there was a long time Lauren really had to like drill into me, like, no, we need an assistant in the office. And I'm like, I can do it.
I mean, I think that's whenever things like pivoted for us, because like we were like, no, we want to just do it, and like, you know, all the money can come to us. And I was like, well, if you can focus on this, and if we can have someone else doing like the smaller task that you don't need to be doing, you can do more, and we can pay them, then we can make more money. And you just kind of like
finally submitted and was like, fine, you can give me an assistant. And it's been beautiful.
And now we're like, give us all the help.
Yes. Now
economies of scale.
She reminds me to eat. Like, she's so great. Oh my gosh. I don't know where we would be.
Oh yeah. Shout out, Katie.
I mean, it's just that economies of scale and recognizing that you can only make so much as one person. And then when you add somebody else, you're paying them X, but you're bringing in Y. And so now you've got a little bit more gap that you didn't have to devote time to to make. And then you just start doing that from a numbers game. And having, I mean, assistants and having people that are directly next to you, helping you get through everything, are so crucial for success. I mean, you just can't. I know if it's not on my calendar, personally, if it's not on my calendar, I'm not there, because it's not on my brain. It's not on my mind. So like you said, you didn't know you had another event. It's like, for me, oh, you were supposed to be here, Patrick. I was like, nope, wasn't on my calendar. I wasn't supposed to be there.
Katie keeps us organized, and Lauren definitely keeps us organized. I'd say I'm like the one with the bad handwriting that doesn't write anything down. I'll answer questions. Everyone's like, how do you know that? I'm like, I remember it from last week. I don't know.
You just have the good memory.
But no, I don't think Truly Haute would function without all of our employees, for sure. And
they are our backbone, for sure.
Now I'm like, put 5 on the event. Like, let's hire more, because, the more people you have, the smoother things go too.
And the better the experience you can provide for that customer.
All around,
You know, and it's you're not having one person run around and have that side of the room's candles are lower than that side because one person started there, and you can see their path of where they lit the candles. And then you're like, yep, they finished there and they started there. And that took them a solid 2 minutes to light all the candles.
That's so funny.
And so now it's just like this wave of candle heights along the table.
That one was lit way before. And then like we can focus on the details, to give to our staff. So,
Yep.
So on the retail side of things, what kind of went into that decision of opening up retail from rental? I mean, that's an added revenue stream, but it's also a different mindset from an inventory management.
It is. And so it was a little like stressor for me because, I'm like the person who handles all that. But a lot of times people were coming in and they were like, well, I don't need the candle. I don't want to rent the candle holder. Can I just buy the candles? And we were like, well, we don't really do it like that, because the way that we rent, it's the candle holder and it includes the wax. And that's like how our price is. So we were like, how do we do this? And we kept getting the question over and over. And especially during COVID, people were asking, they just wanted the wax, or like, they wanted just a color or something. And it was like, well, maybe we can start offering this. And then, but we really didn't have the space at Industrialplex to like set up things. And then, so when we were moving, we were like, hey, we can totally make a retail space here, but let's just offer like taper candles for sale, because that's what most people were coming in for. Because the only other place you can get is like Hobby Lobby or something. And, they have like maybe 10 colors. And we were like, we're going to have every color. Like we have like 45 colors or something. And we have this huge wall. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's this like taper like wall.
I think I've seen the wall.
And
it's like just like a rainbow
yes,
of like different colors.
Yes,
And it's, just, like,
it's really
gradual.
cool. And so we have all the colors. We have a few different sizes. We have like twisted, striped, 10-inch, 12-inch, 15-inch. And so if you're looking for something for like a party or a certain thing to match, like an invitation or something, you can bring your invitation in, and we have all the colors. So that's kind of like what we're there for. But yeah, we kind of just started with just the tapers, and then we were like, well, we can sell other things too. So we kind of started looking at what else people were looking for. And then I can't remember how the taper base kind of started organically. So maybe somebody had access.
You wanted one for yourself, and you were like,
but there was a planner who wanted one to rent, and we were like, okay. So it was kind of like on our radar. And then a friend of mine had sent me a picture. Do y'all have something like this? So like multiple people had kind of asked us, and we were like, yeah, we can get something like that done. We made a prototype, and people wanted it. And then we got with a local engineer who has one of these huge machines.
Like a CNC machine?
Yes, I think that's what it's called.
So like to make this?
Mm-hmm. And so he like mass produces it for us now, puts our logo in it, and in the front.
The different types of wood.
Yeah, so they really just taken off, and so we make those, but everything else is just like curated, like wholesale, like from other places, and we're trying to expand it more and more, but it is, the tricky part is keeping rental separate from retail, because we'll be like, oh, we knew we're short this, let's just go run and grab it from here, and I'm like, but now our inventory counts are off here, and so that's kind of like the tricky part.
One gets sales tax and one doesn't get sales tax.
Oh yeah, my CPA's
so stressed.
Oh my God, he's like, well, did you rent it or use it for retail? I'm like, I don't know, and he's like, you need to be keeping track, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't keep track, and I keep on. I'll start keeping track next year, and he's like, no, you need to do it now.
This is not a next year item.
I know,
this is a tomorrow item.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So that's what's like in the very beginning. Rachel was like, oh, we should do this like now, and I'm like, I don't have like the mental capability to start like figuring all this out yet. Like let's not do that yet. But I mean, there's definitely a need. So we started doing more like candle holders, and then we have such a great space for it for the retail. So we have candle holders, we have taper bases, we have just like different types of, it's all unscented, but like different types of like candle accessories. So yeah, we're kind of figuring it out.
Like every year, you write down your goals of like, how can Truly Haute expand? What can you do different next year? And I think retail kind of popped up along with like the customer pickup like side of it, and moving into, once we found Mid-City, it was like, like we need to take advantage of just like the space alone, that we have, and the need for things. So I was like, Lauren, get on it, put it on your to-do list and make me a second revenue.
I know. Yeah. So
multiple streams of revenue is never a bad thing.
Yeah.
So as we start to kind of wind down the show, we have a set list of questions we'd like to ask everybody. Okay. So the first one is, what is something you did as a kid you wish you could still do today?
Oh, I should have known these ahead of time.
I don't know why, but like the first thing that came to my mind was like jumping off like a high diving board or something. Oh,
that's fun. Oh, God.
Like it has absolutely nothing to do with anything, but I was like, yeah, I wish I was like a kid, could like jump.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I don't have anything. I'm thinking like eating something like bad food, which I still do all the time, but
go eat now.
No, like I'm talking about like candy, like gorging at
eating
like
candy for dinner, or ice cream for dinner with no repercussions the next day.
Lauren, you're an adult.
I
Have
know. Dessert. Treat yourself.
Look, my wife has to tell me, she's like, Patrick, you pay the bills. If you want to buy something.
You want an orange Fanta, you can have an orange Fanta.
I'm like, no, I can't. So just eating things without.
Oh yeah,
things.
I'm like a sugar addict for sure. And I've had to like I tried to like watch my sugar like the last few months, but I went on this trip and I like totally just blew it all off. And but yeah, I think I'm addicted to sugar. So
Trips don't count. Trips are made up.
I know
the meals are made up on trips. You don't count any of the meals. You don't look at any of the meals on trips.
Yeah. But I love like the sour gummy stuff. I mean, I truly could just eat like I'll go
Nerd
buy.
clusters.
Yeah, the Nerd cluster is so good. Sour Patch, Sour Punch. The
Sour Patch Kids.
Mm-hmm.
I like Sour Patch Kids.
I mean, I could just eat that for dinner for sure. It's
Is that what you were looking for?
That's exactly what I was looking for. Yes. What did you do as a kid? Yes, absolutely.
My kids would do that now. So,
So what are 3 lessons y'all have learned along the way? I mean, y'all have got a
lot of lessons.
A lot of lessons, interesting career paths that more and more we're seeing entrepreneurs start doing with a side hustle, and then taking that leap to be full-time entrepreneur is a big one. So I'm sure there's lots of lessons over the years. And y'all bought the company. So like you bought a hobby. Like you didn't start off with,
Who does that?
Right, who does that? Y'all do, and you do it very well, obviously.
I think an important one that I've definitely had to learn, like, and still learn, is like ask for help when you need it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say. So now I'm gonna come up with another one.
I want to say, like, trust your gut kind of thing. Like, high risk comes high reward, not to say that everyone should go and just like invest in whatever they want. But if you really are like so passionate about it, try it, or at least take the first step in writing down, like, what do you need to do to acquire that dream? Because I didn't even think one bit that like Lauren and I would be like sitting here today with like a shop on Mid-City every weekend all around Baton Rouge, So
one thing that I have, your question was mistakes, what'd you say?
3 lessons.
Lessons, okay. Making sure I answered it correctly.
I know.
Oftentimes, mistakes lead to lessons.
Yeah.
It's true.
I think something, I don't know if this answers your question totally, but like whenever we were first starting out, I feel like we were like, oh, well, what's that company doing? Let's try to do it like that. Or what's, like, let's ask them what their prices are. Let's figure that out. And I think what we had to do was realize, like, it doesn't matter what they're doing or they're doing. Like, we needed to figure out, like, what was, like, we need to be, like, genuine and, like, do what was right for us and what worked for us. And I think once we were able to establish, like, our identity, then people could, like, respect us more. And then people almost, like, wanted to be us. Like, they wanted to know what, like, oh, well, what's Truly Haute doing, So I think in the very beginning, like, that's one thing that we learned was, like, stop trying to be like other people and just, like, be confident in your own identity and brand,
Yeah. No, for sure. That is self-identifying your brand and being true to yourself, whether it's pricing or how you do things, is so important for any company.
Mm-hmm.
So what is something y'all love about Baton Rouge?
Oh, I love the community. Like, it's different.
LSU.
Yeah. I mean, it's like just the event industry though. It's different, like, from Lafayette or New Orleans. I don't know. I love, like, the community of, like we were saying, like the frienders.
Well, she's not from here.
I'm
She's from New Iberia.
I'm from New Iberia.
Originally. I'm born and raised.
Really?
Yeah.
Everyone says I have an accent.
Like the Tigers, maybe. Went to my first hockey game like last week, so that was fun. Just like seeing everyone kind of come together and like one thing. I don't know, Baton Rouge is home, and the more like I meet, all the brides and like they come in too, the like farther we get to go out and see like, New Orleans and like all the other cities, but like there's nothing like a Baton Rouge wedding, or like there's so many things that like we just want to do for our community, and like the event industry and like all our friends.
I feel like Baton Rouge, it's like a small town feeling, but in a big town,
It's a little big town.
Mm-hmm.
So for the final question, what can I do to help y'all?
You can tell everyone you know. Word of mouth is so important to us.
Look
anyone
right,
getting
right
married.
into a little camera right there and just deliver your message.
Come and see us.
Check out our website.
Yes, at Truly Haute on Instagram. See what we're doing, because we are making like really pretty things and transforming so many spaces here in Baton Rouge.
And even if you didn't think you needed candles, you definitely do for engagement parties, rehearsal dinners,
proposals,
bridal showers. I don't even know what camera I'm looking into right now.
That one.
This one.
That one right there. Yes.
You take a look. But give us a call or send your friends like our way. If you know anyone getting married or really just like throwing a party. I mean, we just did like a really cute Christmas house party the other day, and it completely just like changed the house, with the candles. So let us set the ambiance. You
Mhm.
know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Barrett might need some candles in the studio after a little while.
Yeah.
Get a good ambiance going. Get a little flame in the corner.
Yes, yes.
So we're
We'll
going to
light
make
it up.
sure that we link y'all's website and everything else
please do.
in the show notes and tag y'all and everything to make sure
Awesome.
everybody can easily find you, because it's not spelled Truly Hot as in
Right.
H-O-T,
It's Haute, like Haute.
like Haute. Okay. Well, thank y'all so much for coming
Thank
on the
you
show.
for having us.
Thank you. It
I
was fun.
appreciate y'all's time in making this work, and I'm sure there's an event happening tonight that we're holding you from, or you got a team executing on. So thank y'all for coming and
Thank you,
sharing your
Vanessa.
story, and can't wait to continue watching y'all's abundance and success.
Yes, thank you
Yes.
so much. Appreciate it.
So, and thank you everybody else for tuning in, whether you're watching or listening to the show. I really appreciate it. I know the guests do as well. If you're in the market for candles, or if you're not in the market, you're actually in the market because you didn't know you were in the market in the first place. So whatever it is.
You are now.
Yeah, you're now in the market for candles, whether it's a corporate event, a family function, a wedding, and an engagement, whatever it is. Find some way to light up that space, and Truly Hot can definitely take care of that for y'all. Thank y'all so very much. This is our last episode of 2022, by the way, everybody. We are
Cheers.
putting our hat up. Thank you. Yes, cheers. We're putting our hat up for the year. We're going to be back starting in January of 2023. A lot of things to come. Very excited for what's on the horizon for us in the show, and also just amazing guests like Truly Hot coming each and every week next year. Thank y'all so very much, and thank you to the amazing sponsors that bring you this show each and every Tuesday. Hear a little bit more about them right now.
Sell your home for a $399 flat fee with Falaya. No, seriously. Falaya will list your home on the MLS and help you get all the way to the closing table for as little as a $399 flat fee. Our online platform is insanely easy to use and will save you thousands. If you're thinking about selling your home in 2022 and want to keep more of your hard-earned equity in your pocket, you need to check out Falaya. Falaya, real estate reimagined.
Thank y'all so very much for listening to this episode of the Patty G Show, brought to you by Government Taco. They're located on the corner of Government Street and Jefferson Highway. Jay is always slinging up a new taco of the month, so if you're a frequenter to Government Taco, let us know in the comments what you thought about this month's taco of the month. If you're not a frequenter, maybe trying out this month's taco might just convert you. Big thanks over to them at Government Taco for making the Patty G Show possible.
Imagine taxiing on a plane looking toward the end of the runway. It seems so far away, it's even hard to see it. And that's what the concept of retirement probably felt like when you were in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, way far in the distance, not visible or even a concern. But as you turn 50, something happens. Retirement suddenly seems like something real, something not too far away. In your 50s, you are rolling down the runway. Retirement is getting closer and closer, faster and faster, weeks and months zipping by. But are you even ready for a successful takeoff to retirement? Fear not, there's still runway left. But the time is now. Time to make progress and time to get a plan. The Runway Decade will help you get organized, get energized, and give you the direction you need to take off to your desired retirement. The Runway Decade, building a pre-retirement flight plan in your 50s.
Thank you to Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge for making this show possible. Nick Pentis is a past guest. We love having him on. Listening to him talk about the culture they have over at Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge is really an incredible thing to hear. How they treat not only their employees, but every customer that walks through the door. You are more than just a number to them. They're going to give you that white glove concierge service every step of the way. They're going to make you feel like family and take what can be a stressful time in people's life, shopping for a car. They're going to make it so enjoyable and so pleasurable. You're going to want to go back there time and time again for every new vehicle. Thank you so very much for Mercedes-Benz of making this show possible. Thank you to our wonderful sponsor, Lake Men's Health Center with Our Lady of the Lake Physicians Group. Guys, I know it's tough to get out and go to the doctor. I know it's challenging to find time in our busy days, but I promise you, signing up to be a part of this group with Dr. Curtis Chastain and Dr. Tyler Boudreau. You won't regret it for several reasons, but most of those being the fact of the time it saves, where you're able to get in on the same day, get that appointment done, and spend that time you need to talk with them about what your health goals and concerns are, as well as ensuring that the financial investments you have, you will be able to live out and see those come to fruition. So if you're an investing guy, you know all about and planning for the future and investing in the future. There's no other more important thing to invest in than your health. Make sure you go check them out. Our Lady of the Lake Physicians Group Men's Health Center, and tell them Patty G sent you. McClavy's Limited, a proud sponsor of the Patty G Show, has been serving the Baton Rouge area proudly for 40 plus years. Gentlemen and ladies, if you're shopping for your man, there is no other place in the Baton Rouge area to get your clothing, whether it's game day needs, everyday needs, business attire, formal attire, whatever you want. Go over there, see Frank and Ashley. It's a father-daughter duo. They do incredible things in their store. They will outfit you from as simply a shirt that you need for one evening or all the way to a full wardrobe overhaul. They're going to take care of you every step of the way, and be sure and let them know that Patty G Show sent you.
Simple